The mysterious new boss. The office was quiet that morning, too quiet. Everyone sat at their desks, typing, whispering, pretending to work. But they weren't focused on their screens. They were waiting. Something, or someone, was coming. "She's arriving today," someone whispered from the break room. The new alien boss. Kian, the youngest engineer on the team, sipped his cold coffee. He had heard the rumors. Their last boss had suddenly disappeared. No one knew why. Now they were getting a replacement from a distant planet. She was supposed to be brilliant, powerful, and very strange. He didn't expect anything out of the ordinary, just another boss with rules and reports. But when the elevator doors opened, the entire floor fell silent. She stepped out, tall, graceful, silver blue skin that shimmered under the lights. Her eyes glowed like stars, and her long white hair floated behind her, as if it moved on its own. She wore a sleek uniform, different from theirs, and when she walked, it felt like the air itself changed. Her name was Jara. Nobody spoke, nobody moved. Even the air conditioning seemed to pause. Jara looked around slowly, her eyes scanning the room. Then she smiled, softly, politely. But even that smile made hearts race. There was something about her, something no one could explain. Kian blinked and looked away, his face turning red. What was happening to him? "Team," the manager said, breaking the silence. "This is your new department leader, Officer Jara from the planet Virelia. She'll be with us for the next 3 moon cycles." Jara nodded gently. Her voice, when she spoke, was like music, but not normal music. It made your skin tingle, your thoughts scatter. "I'm pleased to work with humans," she said, looking around. Her eyes paused on Kian for a moment, too long, and then moved on. After she left for her private office, the silence broke. "Did you feel that?" one of the staff whispered. "My heart's still racing," said another. Kian didn't speak. He just stared at his hands. They were shaking a little. Why? She didn't touch him. She didn't even talk to him directly. And yet, something deep inside him felt disturbed, changed. That day, no one could work properly. People made mistakes. One guy spilled coffee all over his keyboard. Another accidentally sent an empty email to the whole building. Jara didn't come out again. But her presence stayed. Heavy, warm, distracting. By lunchtime, strange things were happening. The air around her office felt warmer. Flowers in the hallway started to open, even though they were fake. And the lights near her door flickered every now and then, like they couldn't handle her energy. "Is it just me," said Kian's friend Cello, "or is she affecting us?" Kian nodded slowly. "She's not doing anything, but it feels like something is happening." Later that evening, as most of the team left, Kian stayed behind to finish some work. He needed to clear his head, think straight, maybe focus on something normal. But then he heard the door. Jara stepped out of her office, holding a small glowing cube. She didn't see Kian at first. Her steps were slow, almost unsure. Then she looked up. "Oh," she said softly, "you're still here." Kian stood up quickly. "Yes, I was just finishing." "Don't be nervous," she said. "I prefer when people speak freely, not like they are scared of me." "I'm not scared," Kian lied. His heart was thudding. She walked toward the window and looked at the stars. "This planet is different," she whispered. "It smells different, feels different. The gravity pulls stronger here, in more ways than one." Kian wasn't sure what to say, so he said nothing. Jara turned back to him. Her eyes were glowing again, but softer now, like a calm sea. "I will ask one thing, Kian," she said, her voice quiet. "If I seem unusual in the coming days, don't be afraid. It is not your fault. It is simply a time that comes for my kind." He didn't understand, but he nodded anyway. "Okay." Jara smiled again, this time a little sad. "Thank you." She walked back into her office, and the door slid shut behind her. Kian sat back down, his thoughts spinning. What did she mean? What was coming? And why did it feel like whatever it was had already begun? The mating period revealed. The next morning, the office didn't feel like the same place anymore. The air was warmer. The lights felt dimmer. People spoke less. Some of them avoided eye contact. Others looked confused, restless, even nervous. Something was wrong, but no one could explain it. Kian arrived early. He hadn't slept much. Jara's words from the night before kept echoing in his mind. If I seem unusual in the coming days, don't be afraid. It is not your fault. What did she mean? As he stepped into the workspace, he noticed something new, a faint, sweet scent in the air. It wasn't perfume. It was natural, almost floral, yet electric. It clung to everything. And it seemed to get stronger the closer he walked toward Jara's office. He wasn't the only one who noticed. Silo was already at his desk, leaning back in his chair, staring at the ceiling with wide, dazed eyes. Are you okay? Kian asked. Silo blinked and rubbed his face. I don't know, man. I feel weird. Like I'm burning up inside. And every time she walks by, it gets worse. Kian nodded. It's not just you. People were sweating. One of the older engineers kept adjusting his shirt collar and muttering that the air system must be broken. A female worker suddenly left the room, saying she needed fresh air. But when Kian looked outside, the air was foggy, heavy, like something was pressing down on the building. At 10 o'clock sharp, Jara stepped out of her office. Everyone froze. She looked the same, but different. Her skin glowed brighter. Her movements were smoother. Her hair flowed as if it had its own life. When she passed by, the scent in the air grew stronger, and every male in the room turned toward her without meaning to. Even Kian. It wasn't just her beauty. It was something deeper, something in the air, something primal. Jara didn't speak to anyone. She walked past slowly, then disappeared into the conference room. Kian stood up, unable to stop himself. His heart beat faster with every step. He didn't know what he was doing until he reached the door. He knocked once. Come in, her voice called from inside, soft and warm, like silk brushing skin. He stepped in and closed the door. Jara was sitting near the window, looking out at the city. The sunlight painted soft shadows across her face. She turned slowly, as if expecting him. I hope you would come, she said. Kian took a step closer, but stopped himself. I don't understand. What's happening to everyone? To me? To you? Jara stood, her glowing eyes locked with his. It has begun, she said softly. What has? He asked. She walked slowly around the room. I was trying to delay it. I took medicine. I meditated. I sealed my scent with energy bands. But nothing worked. The moment I saw you, your kind, your warmth, it started early. Kian swallowed hard. What started? Jara looked him in the eyes. My mating period. He froze. My kind, she continued, enters a time when instincts take over. Our minds stay sharp, but our bodies begin to send out signals, scents, sounds, even waves of energy. It attracts potential partners. On my planet, it is controlled. It is managed. She walked closer, lowering her voice. But here, among humans, your biology is too open, too sensitive. You feel it stronger than you should. It spreads without warning. Kian stared at her, trying to breathe normally. Is that what's happening to the others? Jara nodded. Yes, and it will get worse. Why didn't you warn us? Because your kind doesn't understand. On some planets, a female's mating period is sacred. On others, it is feared. I wasn't sure how humans would react. Would you laugh at me, lock me up, or fall in love with me for the wrong reasons? Kian didn't know what to say. He just felt the heat rising inside him. Her scent was so strong now, It filled his head like music. "I'm trying to leave," she said, "to isolate myself before someone gets hurt. But my body is fighting me. It wants to stay near someone compatible." "Compatible?" Kian asked, his voice quiet, her glowing eyes fixed on him again. "You." He stepped back. "No, that's not possible. I didn't do anything." "You didn't have to," she said gently. "Your heart spoke before your mouth ever did." Silence filled the room. For a moment, they just stood there, two beings from different worlds, trapped by instincts neither could control. Jara finally broke the silence. "Please, don't let anyone else come near me. I can't. Promise they'll leave the same." Kian's mind raced. The team outside. The others were already affected. He had to do something. "I'll help," he said. "I'll talk to the manager. We'll isolate you, get you somewhere safe. Just tell me how long this lasts." Jara smiled, though her eyes were sad. 6 days. Kian nodded. "We'll get through it." As he turned to leave, Jara whispered something that made him stop. "Kian, if I lose control, it won't be you I hurt. It will be me." He looked back at her one last time. "I won't let that happen," he said. But deep down, he wasn't sure who he was really trying to protect. The unexpected attraction. Kian barely slept that night. His mind was a storm. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw her, Jara, her glowing eyes, her soft voice, her scent still lingering in his memory. No matter how hard he tried to forget, she stayed with him like a shadow. He tossed and turned until morning. Something inside him had changed. Not just attraction. Something deeper, like a thread pulling him toward her, even against his will. When he arrived at work the next day, the situation was worse. The office had become chaotic. Several male workers had called in sick. Others sat at their desks, distracted, glassy-eyed, unable to focus. Conversations were strange. Some were whispering about dreams they had, dreams about her. Kian noticed a young intern named Milo sitting alone in the break room, breathing heavily, clutching a cold drink against his forehead. "Hey, you okay?" Kian asked. Milo nodded slowly. "I don't know, man. I dreamed I was in a field of stars. She was there. Jara. She didn't speak, but I could feel her voice in my chest." Kian felt a chill. It wasn't just him. Jara's influence was growing, spreading through thoughts, dreams, maybe even deeper. As he entered the workspace, his eyes locked onto hers. Jara was standing at the far end of the room, giving instructions to one of the department heads. Her face was calm, professional, but something was off. Her skin shimmered brighter than before, her voice more melodic, and her body language subtly different, almost inviting. When she noticed Kian, she paused. Their eyes met, and for a brief second, everything around him blurred. He couldn't hear the typing, couldn't feel the ground. It was just her. Then she looked away, and the world snapped back into place. Kian sat at his desk, heart pounding. He had to stay strong. He promised to help her, not fall for her. But it was getting harder. That afternoon, the manager called a secret meeting with Kian. "I've received 4 complaints," the manager said, voice tense. "All from male staff. They say they can't work under Jara anymore. One said he feels intoxicated around her. Another said he dreamed of marrying her." Kian stayed quiet. The manager leaned forward. "You're close to her, Kian. You were seen entering her office. Do you know what's going on?" Kian hesitated, then said slowly, "It's biological. Something natural for her species. She warned me. She's trying to fight it." The manager narrowed his eyes. "Fight what?" Kian swallowed hard. "Her mating period. It releases signals, pheromones. They're stronger than we can handle." Silence. "Then why are you still functioning normally?" the manager asked sharply. "Why are you not affected like the others?" Kian looked down. Was he really I don't know, he said quietly. Maybe I'm just trying harder. But deep inside, he knew that wasn't true. He was affected, just hiding it better. And that scared him more than anything. The manager sighed. We can't have a breakdown in the team. Either she isolates herself, or we relocate the department. Something must change. Fast. Kayan left the office feeling heavy. The situation was turning into a crisis. If Zhara didn't leave soon, someone might get hurt, emotionally or worse. That evening, as most employees packed up and left, Kayan found himself walking, again, toward her door. He knocked gently. No answer. He knocked again. This time, it slid open. The room was darker than before. The lights dimmed low. Soft alien music played in the background, like whispers mixed with waves. Zhara stood near the center, barefoot, her hair floating softly around her. Her eyes looked tired, yet glowing brighter than ever. You shouldn't be here, she said, not turning around. I know, Kayan replied. But I had to come. She slowly turned to face him. It's getting worse. I can see that. She stepped closer, but only a little. I dreamt of you last night, she said softly. But it wasn't like the others. It wasn't about desire. Kayan's heart pounded. What was it? You were helping me, she said, holding my hand while I stood in fire. Everyone else ran away. But you stayed. You burned, but didn't let go. Kayan felt his throat tighten. I told you I'd help. I meant it. Zhara's expression softened. She took a deep breath. Kayan, something is happening to me. And it's not just biology. It's not just this phase. It's you. He took a step forward, cautiously. What do you mean? I've had mating periods before, she said. But never like this. Never this intense. Never this focused. It's like my entire body has chosen you. Kayan didn't know what to say. I don't want to hurt you, she whispered. But I'm afraid I already have. You're changing. Kayan looked at his hands. His skin felt warmer. His heartbeat faster. His thoughts foggy. I know, he said. But I don't care. Zhara's eyes widened slightly. You should. I don't want to run, he said. Even if it gets worse, I just want to be here, for you. Silence again. Heavy. Powerful. Then, Zhara reached out. Her hand hovered near his face, glowing softly. But she didn't touch him. I can't, she whispered. Not yet. I'm not afraid, Kayan replied. Her eyes shimmered with emotion. I am, she said. And with that, she turned away and walked back into the shadows. Kayan stood there, alone, feeling her warmth even from across the room. He knew now that this wasn't just attraction. It was something far more dangerous. And it was only just beginning. The power struggle. The next day, the office wasn't just tense, it was cracking. Two male employees got into an argument near the server room. One accused the other of looking at her too long. Another man from accounting was caught staring at Zhara's office door for over 10 minutes without blinking. Even the quietest ones were affected. Some couldn't speak properly. Others sat alone, their eyes dark and unfocused. The building felt like it was holding its breath, waiting for something to explode. Kayan knew it was only a matter of time. Zhara hadn't come out of her office that morning. The door remained shut, but the air around it pulsed with strange heat. The scent, her scent, was stronger than ever. It filled the vents, the halls, even the elevators. Everyone knew where it was coming from, and everyone was being pulled toward it. Kayan saw Silo near the window, sweating. His face was pale. His hands were shaking. You okay? Kayan asked. Silo turned slowly. I dreamed about her again. But this time, I was flying through fire, and she was pulling me deeper. Kayan placed a hand on his shoulder. You need to go home. I can't. I feel like if I leave, something terrible will happen. The power was growing. At noon, Kayan got called into the manager's office again. The man looked tired, eyes red like he hadn't slept all night. "I just got off a call with HFY," he said, rubbing his temples. "They're sending a medical team. A special one. Alien specialists." Kian's heart dropped. "To take Jara?" "Yes, this has gone beyond control. We've never dealt with something like this before. The team will sedate her, move her off-world if needed." Kian stood up sharply. "You can't do that." "We have to," the manager snapped. "Look around. This place is falling apart. Men are acting like animals. Someone might hurt her, or themselves. But she's not doing it on purpose," Kian said. "She's trying to fight it." The manager looked at him closely. "You care about her?" Kian didn't answer. "Look, Kian," the manager sighed. "I know you're different. You're holding it together better than most. But even you're not immune. We have to end this before someone breaks." Kian left the office without saying more. But inside, something was boiling. That afternoon, he made a decision. He waited until the building was nearly empty. Then he walked to her office door and knocked once. No answer. He pressed his palm to the door. It opened. The room was completely dark, except for a soft blue glow at the center, where Jara sat cross-legged, eyes closed, floating a few inches above the ground. Kian stepped in slowly. "I told you not to come," she said softly, eyes still shut. "They're coming for you," he said. "A medical team. They want to take you away. Maybe off-world." Her eyes opened, glowing, sharp. "I expected this. You need to leave," Kian said, "before they get here." "I can't." "Why?" Jara stood slowly. Her body shimmered with soft light, her energy stronger than ever. "Because it's not just my mating period anymore," she said. "It's my bonding time." Kian blinked. "What does that mean?" "In my species," she explained, "once our mating period reaches its peak, we bond. Forever. One person. One mind. One heart. If the bond isn't completed, we collapse." Kian stepped closer. "Collapse. We lose everything. Our memories, our control, even our identity." Kian's chest tightened. "How much time do you have?" "Hours." Silence. She looked at him, eyes trembling. "My body has chosen. And it chose you, Kian. I didn't want it to. I tried to resist. But it's you." He stepped even closer now. "If I help you bond, what happens to me?" Jara's expression changed. "You won't be human anymore. Not fully. Our minds will connect. Your thoughts will touch mine. We will feel each other. Forever." Kian didn't speak. She reached out, her hand glowing softly. "You'll feel my pain, my joy, my fears, every dream, every nightmare, but you'll never be alone again." Kian looked into her eyes, and suddenly he realized he already felt it. He already dreamed her dreams, already feared her fears, already loved her pain. He was already changing. "I don't want you to be taken," he said. "I don't want you to disappear." "Then help me," she whispered. But before their hands could touch, boom, the office shook. Outside, voices shouted. Boots pounded the floor. The building's lights flashed red. "They're here," Jara said, her eyes wide with fear. Kian grabbed her hand. "We're leaving. Now." "But they'll." "I said we're leaving." He pulled her toward the back door. Sirens echoed in the hallway. Security bots scanned the rooms. The scent she left behind was too strong to hide. They ran into the shadows. Two beings from two different worlds. One running from duty. One running from love. And neither knowing what would happen next. The confession. The night air was cold and sharp, like a blade cutting through the silence. Kian and Jara ran through the dark alley behind the office building. Her hand in his felt like fire. Burning, glowing, alive. Neither of them spoke as they moved between shadows, trying to stay hidden. The sounds of drones and shouting voices echoed behind them. "They've locked the skies," Jara whispered. "We can't take a ship." "Then we stay low," Kyan said, pulling her behind a parked cargo van. "Just until they stop searching." Jara leaned against the wall, breathing hard. Her body glowed faintly in the dark, and her skin was hot to the touch. Her energy was unstable now, too strong, too wild. Kyan watched her carefully. "Are you okay?" "No," she whispered. "My bonding time. It's reaching the end." Kyan looked around. "Then we need a safe place. Somewhere they won't look." He had an idea. There was an old tech lab he used to work at, a broken-down warehouse at the edge of the city. It hadn't been touched in years. Maybe they could hide there, at least for one night. They reached the lab by midnight. It was quiet, dusty, abandoned, but it had walls, a roof, and no surveillance. Inside, Kyan set down some blankets and activated a low-energy heat lamp. Jara sat down carefully, her body trembling slightly. Kyan handed her a water bottle. She took it, but didn't drink. Instead, she looked at him. "Kyan," she said softly, "can I tell you something?" He sat beside her. "Anything." She stared at her hands, then at the wall, as if searching for courage. "On my world," she began, "we are trained to control ourselves from a very young age. Our emotions, our instincts, our power, especially during bonding time. If we lose control, we are punished, locked away, labeled as unstable." Kyan stayed quiet. "I have bonded 3 times before," she continued. "All were chosen by my family. None were true. My body rejected each one. The last bond almost killed me." Kyan's eyes widened. "Then why are you?" "Because this time," she said, cutting him off gently, "it's different. This time, I chose." She looked him in the eyes now. "I don't know why. I don't know how. But the moment I saw you, I felt peace. I felt seen. Like the universe wasn't pushing me anymore. It was guiding me." Kyan's breath caught. "I was scared at first," she continued. "I thought you would laugh. Or run. Or look at me like I'm just some creature from space." "I never did," he whispered. "I know," she said. "That's why. I need to tell you this now, before my body gives up." She reached out and gently touched his chest. "My heart has already bonded with yours." Kyan placed his hand over hers. Her skin was hot, but soft. "I think mine has too," he said. Jara blinked slowly. "You don't understand what that means." "I know enough," he said. She shook her head. "No, you don't. If we bond fully, your life will never be the same. You'll feel what I feel. When I suffer, you'll suffer. When I cry, you'll cry. If I die." Kyan leaned closer. "Then I die." Jara's breath hitched. "You're human. You have your own world, your own people. Why would you throw that away?" "Because I've never met anyone like you," he said, "and because I don't want to go back to a life where you're not in it." She looked away, tears shimmering in her eyes. Not water, but glowing liquid like falling stars. "I was taught not to cry," she said, "but right now I can't stop." He wiped a tear from her cheek. "Then cry. You've held too much inside." They sat in silence for a while, just breathing, just feeling. Then suddenly, Jara winced. "What is it?" Kyan asked. "My bonding time. It's collapsing. If we don't finish it soon, the energy will overload my system." "Tell me what to do," he said. She looked into his eyes. "Just stay with me. Let your heart open. Let your thoughts touch mine." He took her hand. And then, he felt it. Not pain, not heat, but connection. Suddenly, his mind filled with images, Jara's memories. Her childhood on a planet with floating mountains, her training under the stars. The fear she felt when her first bond was forced. The loneliness of being powerful, but never understood. He saw it all. And Jara saw his, a small human house, a sick mother, a lonely boy who built machines to feel less alone. His first heartbreak, his quiet dreams, his long nights wondering if he'd ever find purpose. They both cried. Together, the bond had begun. But then, boom, the warehouse door exploded open. Bright lights, loud voices, security bots poured in, their weapons glowing. Do not move. Kian jumped up, shielding Jara. Step away from the alien, the lead officer shouted. She's unstable. No, Kian yelled. She's not a threat. You don't understand. She's bonding. Jara tried to stand, but her legs gave out. Kian caught her. If you take her now, he said, you'll kill her. The officer hesitated, but then a woman stepped forward, wearing a long black coat and strange tech glasses. We don't care, she said coldly. She's already breaking protocol. If we don't stop her now, this entire city could fall under her influence. Kian looked down at Jara, who clutched his arm. I'm sorry, she whispered. No, he said firmly. We still have time. Then he turned to face the soldiers and made a choice. The climax. The air inside the warehouse was tense, tight like a rope about to snap. Red lights from the security bots flashed across the room. Dozens of armored officers surrounded Kian and Jara. Their weapons buzzed with silent threat. The strange woman in the long coat, the government controller, took a step forward. Step away from the alien, she repeated, voice sharp, cold. She is unstable. If she bonds fully, the consequences could be global. Kian didn't move. He stood in front of Jara, shielding her with his body. I won't let you take her. The woman raised an eyebrow. You're just a human engineer. You're not trained. You're not authorized. You have no idea what she is. Kian looked back at Jara. She was on her knees, glowing softly, her breath shaky, her skin trembling. But her eyes, her glowing alien eyes, were filled with something more than pain now. Hope. She's not a monster, Kian said. She's a person, and she's not forcing anything. She's just falling in love. The woman laughed, humorless. You think this is about love. This is about control. If she bonds to a human and loses stability, we don't just lose her, we lose the people around her. Her emotions could affect every mind within miles. Jara tried to speak, but her voice cracked. I'm holding it back. I can still control it. Kian knelt beside her and took her hand. Her skin felt like fire under ice. How much time? He whispered. Jara looked into his eyes. Minutes. The woman raised her hand. Neutralize her. The bot stepped forward. Kian stood again, arms wide. No, she hasn't hurt anyone. Let me finish the bond. If you break it now, she dies. And what if the bond completes? The woman snapped. What if it links your weak human mind to a cosmic-level energy you can't contain? You're risking a catastrophe. I already made my choice, Kian said. I chose her. Silence. Then the air changed. Everyone froze. A low humming began to vibrate through the walls. The ground beneath them trembled. Jara's body started to float again, only an inch, but enough to lift dust from the floor. Her glow grew brighter. Her hair lifted like in water. Her body was losing control. Kian, she whispered. It's happening. She clutched her chest. Her heartbeat echoed in the air like a drum. A wave of invisible force pushed outward, gently, but enough to make the closest bots step back. The soldiers raised their weapons again. Take them down. No, Kian shouted. Let me finish it. Let me bond with her. He turned back to Jara, dropping to his knees. Her eyes were fading now, glowing 1 second, dimming the next. I'm here, he whispered. I'm not going anywhere. He touched her face. The moment his fingers touched her skin, everything stopped. No sound, no light, just a silent void. Kyan floated inside a black space filled with stars. In front of him, Jara's spirit. Not her body, not her voice. Just pure light. This is the core, her voice echoed gently inside his mind, where bonds are made. If you take this step, there's no turning back. I know, Kyan thought. You'll feel everything. My memories, my desires, my guilt, my pain. Then I'll carry it with you, and you'll never belong fully to Earth again. I never did, Kyan said softly. Not until I met you. Then came the final question. Do you accept me, not as an alien, not as a commander, but as a woman with a broken past and a dangerous heart? Kyan stepped forward in the starlight. I accept all of you. The stars exploded. A wave of light burst through the warehouse, knocking the guards off their feet. The security bots froze and dropped. Alarms short-circuited. The woman in the black coat covered her eyes. At the center of the light, Jara and Kyan floated, locked together by a ring of glowing energy. Their minds connected, their emotions fused, every breath shared, every beat one. And then, silence. The light faded. Jara and Kyan landed gently on the ground. Their bodies were whole. Their eyes matched in color. His brown had hints of silver glow, and her silver shimmered with warmth. The bond was complete. Jara stood up first, stronger now, calm, balanced. She looked at the stunned officers and said in a clear voice, I am no longer a danger. I am no longer breaking. The woman stepped forward slowly, speechless. Kyan looked at her. She's not what you thought she was. And maybe I'm not either. Jara added, we are something new, something neither of our worlds planned for. But we are here now, together. No one moved. No one fired. Because for the first time, they saw her, not as a threat, not as a force, but as a being in love. And the human beside her, he was no longer just a man. He was something more. Something bonded. The aftermath. 3 weeks later, the sky above the city was clear. The tension that once gripped the office had vanished. The strange scent was gone. The red lights and alarms were now memories. People walked in the halls again, smiling, focused. The fear had passed. But Kyan's world was forever changed. He sat on the rooftop of the old warehouse, legs swinging over the edge, watching the stars. His eyes, once fully human, now held a shimmer of silver. The bond with Jara had left its mark, not just in his body, but in his soul. Behind him, footsteps. He didn't have to turn. He could feel her presence before she even spoke. You always come up here at this time, Jara said gently. Kyan smiled. It's the only place quiet enough to hear you without hearing you. She walked up beside him, barefoot, her glowing white dress flowing like mist. I like that, she said, hearing without words. They sat together, their shoulders touching. A soft hum of energy passed between them, warm and calming. The bond was still there, strong, alive, peaceful. I still don't understand how we survived that, Kyan said. You didn't survive it, she replied. You changed it. You changed me. Kyan turned to her. You were never the danger they thought. No, she said, but I believed I was. I spent most of my life thinking my power was a curse, until you stood in front of it and said, I'm not afraid. Kyan reached over and took her hand. I wasn't lying. She smiled. I know. Back at the office, things had gone quiet. Jara had officially stepped down from her leadership role. The company had assigned her a quiet research position, far from crowds. She didn't mind. She was finally at peace. Most of the staff didn't know what happened that night. The security team kept it quiet. The official report only said that a minor incident involving alien biology had been contained without loss. Only a few knew the truth. The woman in the long black coat had returned. 2 days after the bond was completed. She sat across from Kian and Jara in the interrogation room. "I should have shut this down," she said. "I should have fired on both of you." "But you didn't," Kian said. The woman studied them for a long time, then finally asked, "Do you feel different?" Jara answered calmly, "I feel whole." "And you?" she asked Kian. "I feel alive," he replied. She leaned back in her chair, arms crossed. "So what happens now? Are you two just going to hide? Live like ghosts?" "No," Jara said, standing. "We're going to build something new." The woman looked between them, then nodded. "Then make sure it doesn't destroy you." And just like that, she was gone. Now on the rooftop, Kian looked at the stars. "Do you think it'll last?" he asked. "Our bond?" Jara asked. He nodded. She leaned her head against his shoulder. "Some bonds are built in blood, some in duty, but ours was built in choice. That kind doesn't break." Kian took a deep breath, watching a small starship fly across the sky. "Do you miss your home planet?" "Sometimes," she said. "But now, you feel more like home than any world I've known." He looked at her, eyes warm. "So what do we do next?" Jara smiled, her hand on his. "We keep going. We learn. We explore. We live. And maybe we teach others." Kian raised an eyebrow. "Teach?" She nodded. "There are others like me. Others scared of themselves. And others like you, humans who feel alone, searching for connection. Maybe they don't have to fear anymore." Kian grinned. "So we're starting a space therapy group." She laughed, the sound like soft wind bells. "Maybe." They both looked at the sky again. The city lights below flickered like stars. But up above, the real stars waited. And now, they had each other. Epilogue. 6 months later, a quiet file was uploaded to the Interspecies Research Council. Title: Human-Alien Emotional Bonding. Case Study ZHK1. Status: Stable. Note: First recorded successful bond between a human and a Varelian without genetic fusion or forced link. Result: mutual emotional balance, stable energy transfer, and elevated cognitive growth on both sides. Long-term study advised. Subject shows no signs of instability. High compatibility. Unexpected resilience of human emotional capacity. At the end of the report, a single line was added by the human researcher. "Maybe love really is the most powerful force in the universe,